To the latest news.
Well, that's kind of what we do, right? Is we adapt to change.
Try. Oh, sneeze, cough.
Excuse me.
All right. You're not allergic to new news, I hear, Daniel.
Yes, I'm allergic to Teams, new version of Teams.
Oh no.
No, we adapt to what's going on, and I think that we knew it was coming.
Yes.
We had the pleasure of knowing, and finally having the message out there is nice, and so it's good to talk about.
Definitely, yeah. I was excited to see it because being able to access it in private preview for a bit, it was exciting to see things like, oh wow, look what we can do now. We don't have to take ages to turn it on or switch and the like. Look, we better save this all for the show, Daniel. I'm just getting a bit ahead of myself.
Well, I mean, I'm excited. Honestly, I'm excited for things that haven't been announced that I don't know that are included or not. Right? I have no idea. I'm hoping I love Teams. I use it every day. I love people on the team, the engineering team. But there's just been some things that have, I'd really hope they fix, and get around to. And so now that we're getting this, maybe we can work on some other stuff too. And but anyway, I'm still excited about this because of I think it's been a long time coming, right, Darrell?
Well, yeah, they talked about a rebuild ways back, so
yeah.
We are overdue for that. But look, we haven't got our timing right because we're so flustered with trying to update titles and thumbnails and stuff that it's gone 7 o'clock and we've still got 30 seconds in the green room.
That's
Enough
fine.
of that. Enough of that, right?
We've got the power. We can push the buttons.
We can, and we totally will. I'm glad to have you here, everyone. See you shortly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode sponsored by Microsoft Teams. I am Daniel, and that over there is...
I'm Darrell, No, I can't think of anything. I was going to say the other sponsor, but I'm not sponsoring. I'm presenting. Exciting stuff.
We are excited to be able to finally talk about the new Microsoft Teams that is going to be rolling out, and we'll talk all about that in a moment. But while you're here, and I wanted to make sure that I gave Darrell a little bit of heartburn, is I'm going to go ahead and ask you to smash that thumbs up, that like button, hit the subscribe, and give us a share on social media. 365 MCS everywhere. 365 MCS everywhere. That is important. We're there. And we'd love for you to share this show out so that everyone can be informed. So, I think, Darrell, we've got a lot to talk about, so we might just need to just jump into it.
Yeah, totally.
And it might surprise people what the first thing we're going to talk about is.
Yeah. Well, I was pulling up our OneNote to see what is it the order, and we've dropped a few things and shuffled a few things, but this one's kind of easy because it's right at the top of the message center. Let's make that live. Narrow it down. What do we got, Daniel? We've got preview the new Microsoft Teams Windows client. Let's tag team this because we certainly didn't rehearse it. I'll get to read the message number, MC533657. And Daniel, I did also take a moment while I was making coffee, rapidly getting ready for the show and work. I managed to hear, let's see, a buzz video, so we can have a look at that and make a few comments. We had Jeff and Derek Snyder, so Jeff Tepper, Derek Snyder, they were showing us or talking through some of the deeper details about what's happened, so that was definitely a good thing. We're going to drop all the links in the episode as well for people to catch up. But let's just play this a bit differently, Daniel. I'm going to full screen the video, and we're going to do a react.
Ooh, a react.
Yeah, you know one of those, right?
Yes. React
Okay.
video.
I don't know if I've actually shared my audio for this. So let's not worry about the audio. Let's just talk about and narrate what we see. All right. So I have jumped through people on couches and patting dogs and, walking around and saying hello to family. And now we're at work and they're all flicking the new Teams button. So what's happening as we go through this? Peeling off the paint.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is I like the faster and less memory because, those are things that people have been talking about for a while, right? We need it to be faster.
That was actually a big point that they've laboured in the blog posts, the discussions, and they had a third party actually do some benchmarking to show the difference between firing up Teams in version 1 point whatever and 2. And it literally is, even a bit over twice, under twice as fast, if that's the way you talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
What else have we got?
And you could definitely tell the aesthetics are different.
Yeah.
Right? You can tell things look the colors are a little bit different.
Well, here's
Font
something.
a little.
Daniel, it's slightly different in the way that it's presenting conversations in channels now. What we just saw was you go through to your activity feed and it actually zeroes out, kind of focuses on just the thread of that conversation, and it's from the top down now, not the bottom up. So you read from the top down for the most recent content.
That's going to be huge, and that's going to be something people are really going to have to get used to. Absolutely.
Yeah. What else we got? So meetings are changing up a bit. Quicker to get into meetings. Oh, hey, check that out.
Yeah. Did you see that?
The video panel is popped out, and the content is on the page. I like that. I've always liked panels, and it kind of, remember, we kind of make this joke, we still make this joke about feature parity with Skype for Business. Do you remember Skype for Business did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is good. What else have we got? We've got new faces in our videos. Oh, there's Luke.
Yes.
Hey.
Oh, there's Loop. Yep.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
And that's in a chat still at the moment, so we're not seeing it in a channel yet. Okay. Hanging out for that. Oh, hang on. Ooh. I actually just talked about this morning. Let me just back up a bit.
Okay.
So we're into Loop. What's happening here, Daniel? What's one of the main gripes about Loop, and how when you attach it to a Teams chat, what happens to it?
It goes away. Like it filters up and you never see it again, even though it's powerful functionality.
As a busy chat, tappity tap tap, that collaborative canvas thing just disappears off the screen. So we've got here, the Loop is open alongside the chat. Oh my goodness, I just talked about this. This is good. Sorry, I will not. You know me. I could have stayed.
No, we just talked about this as hey, we need this. So no, it's fantastic.
We saw that lobby.
Yep.
Newish lobby. So that,
the
I know
lobby
that's
with
a
the background.
premium thing, isn't it? Taking
Indeed.
your appointment. So that's the queuing of appointments. A lot of
I like his ceiling. The previous.
Yeah, well, there's something else about this video too. We're used to seeing stock photos, stock video like this, front face on.
Yeah.
But a lot of this it's taken from just a little bit down below and looking up, as if it's kind of a bit more realistic too.
Yeah. And what is this? What
this?
is that typing that was just happening there on the screen? Was that like what he was doing on his phone, or? Oh, I guess it is what he was showing on his phone. Because that makes it look like there's some sort of chat overlaid on top of video.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what that is.
No. But it did briefly show one of those intelligent responses. Fingers crossed. Thanks, you too.
I'm assuming that's in Teams on his phone. He's doing that.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that. He's getting in. Now we've got Copilot.
Oh, Copilot.
So that's create a table with production timelines. They're refining it, scanning for references. Right, so this is, futuristic, of course. Like we're thinking about scraping and looking across our data across Microsoft 365, so that's cool.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the references, they're tucked away, so they don't get in the way of the content. But if you want to, you can, click the down drop, and
Right.
that's cool.
Get on with detailing what's going on there. Yep.
Okay.
Now
Oh,
go back. Yeah.
okay.
This is an interesting experience too. This here.
All right. Yes.
Just let's take all of this in, because you're looking at a video of the meeting, and I'm guessing this is afterwards, right, Darrell? This is a recap, right? It even says it in the
yeah.
top
Yeah.
in the top tab. This is a recap. So you got the video. This is awesome because you got the video. You've got the when people were speaking below it.
Yep.
Which is amazing. You get to see if someone was dominating or whatever, see what's going on.
That's actually really good. Using that as a graph line to say, hey, Mona or Babak, you spoke far too much this time.
But so here's some suggested notes.
Yep.
Pulling that out, getting us to a smarter meeting. I think that is amazing. I need a smarter meeting.
So the suggested notes, you can expand them. You can tell what they are. You've got suggested tasks. So we know these things were coming to Teams Premium, and then when we saw Copilot talked about, we know that Copilot's going to be powering it now. The shared content, so the documents and references and links that might have been related. Mm-hmm. So great layout there for a recap. Oh, okay. So there was hashtag topics. Mm-hmm. So that might be a tie-in to Viva topics.
Yeah, I would assume. Yep.
Chapters that pick up what you're presenting at the time.
Yeah, and it's, you notice it's got the chapters and it's already labeled them based upon, I'm guessing that's Copilot maybe pulling that in, but it's already new campaign ideas, intro, current, maybe that's the agenda.
I've actually seen this when you use PowerPoint Live, and so it picks up on the name of the slide.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
What else we got? So this is a bit of personalization, that you can set your own theme to how you view your chats, I guess. Yeah, this is the color, the accent color behind the text.
Yeah, indeed.
There's some good chat going on here, of course, in our...
And there's some spacing. Phil brings up a question about, what of this is going to be premium versus not. There's a lot of things that have been announced that are part of premium, right? That we could take off, but I think some of this, a lot of this is going to be premium. When you're doing integrations with other systems, obviously Copilot. Some of those topics, But one comment that was made earlier was the spacing. It looks like the spacing between chats are improved, so that's nice.
Yeah, you've got that cozy standard and something, but I think like the cozy spacing, and they're calling this the current Teams classic Teams already. Like how?
Yeah, already
classic, and this is modern or new Teams. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yippee! Yeah, I like it.
Got people that are happy to use it wherever they are. Meetings, faster, simpler, smarter. Yeah, that's about it, man.
Yeah, I think for faster, absolutely. I think some of that functionality is we're waiting on, and some things we saw in there was about avatars, right? So that was another announcement that was made, and we'll get to that in a second. But that is now in public preview. But I think for this, let's talk about the rollout. If you'll remember, we covered that Teams was going to have this targeted release they're jumping into that rollout method. And so even in this message, it talks about refer back to MC510331 to learn about that rollout experience and what that is for targeted release in Teams now. But so that kind of gives you an idea and framework about when you're going to be able to do these settings, right? So if you're in the public preview program, you'll be able to turn it on today.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more there in terms of how to turn it on, and as we said, we will take a look at. There's support articles. There's other resources to download. Yeah, I forget. Like there was a aka.ms link that will drop into the chat. I know there was a new Teams one, and then there was a new something Teams. So one goes to the adoption resources, and another one goes to.
There's several. There's a design post that talks about the design. There's a architecture post. So there's a lot of links here. We'll add it to the episode, of course, the notes. But there's a lot of information here about what is going into this, because it is a big deal. Now, we've talked about it. Love it. Loves the improvements that we're seeing here and that are forecasted for. Right. There is some downsides now and we have to cover it. That's the whole point of the show. That right now, in my organization, we're not going to be using it inside the organization, right? We can't as production yet. We'll be playing around with it. We'll be getting ready for it. We'll be trying it individually, but from a organization standpoint, there's some gotchas when you're working with Teams, right, Darrell? There's some things we can't do with the new version just yet.
Yeah, exactly. And one of those being that you won't be able to create new teams or channels. Kind of, I wouldn't say counterintuitive, but wanting to drive adoption of Teams, you won't be able to do that so much from 2.0 today. If you're wanting to create new teams and channels. Now, that probably isn't a big deal if an organization has other ways to provision that.
Right.
And one tip from Karuana Gatimu, she said, hey, she's a power user. She'll have classic Teams open in a browser to be able to do those sorts of things, but she'll use the new Teams on desktop for that improved performance and experience. So that's a good tip.
Right. There's some other things that are coming soon. That's in the support article, that's in the link in this message.
Oh yeah, I'll find that.
Things like third-party apps, line of business apps, some advanced calling features, and the advanced meeting capabilities like breakout rooms, 7x7 video, presenter options, Cameo, those kind of things are not going to be available. Just know that Microsoft's working on those, right? I mean, this is not like it's going to be years before this comes, right? No. So it's coming. And my suggestion for people is to try it out, but make sure that you try it out in a different, not on your, the everyday machine, that you're running. Maybe like Caruana was saying of doing it in the browser, for instance.
Let's also just point towards the new adoption resources as well. So you'll find those at aka.ms/new teams.
Yeah.
So if you are wanting to help people ease into the changes to Microsoft Teams, then there are a bunch of resources there too. So head over and check that out in terms of user training guides. Yeah, they actually have a good list here too of what isn't supported. So it's not going to arrive till Mac yet, or the VDI or EDU web platforms, or GCC High. So those are things that will be coming soon-ish.
Indeed.
Yep. Very cool. Avatars.
So let's quickly cover this, because I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but now in public preview, meaning you can go use it as an organization if you want to turn it on. This being able to allow your users to create avatars in Teams. This is in classic as well as modern, I'm sure. Do we call it modern or 2.0? I don't know. We're gonna have to get someone to tell us. Is it classic modern or is it classic 2.0? I don't know. So being able to create these, this is now in public preview, avatars for Microsoft Teams MC533652. And there's information about the rollout here, the public preview, late March, so nowish. I expect it to be early April for targeted release for public preview. And then standard release, they say they're working hard to roll this out in May. And if there's any change to that, they'll let us know. There happens to be a conference in May that some of the Microsoft Teams group will be at, and including Jeff and some others that'll be keynoting. So maybe that's where that'll be announced. But I don't know. I really don't know. So don't yell at me and think I'm telling you something secret. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Daniel,
they say May, and yeah,
you motivated me. I even went and I paid for one of those scalping tickets. That they've all been bought out, but I went and I paid like $10,000 just so.
Whoa, hey now.
That
seems exciting.
It does.
All right. Anything you want to say about avatars? That we haven't already
we've
said?
talked a lot about avatars,
we
but
have.
it's here. It's available for everyone who wants to try the preview now. So have fun, and do not spend too much time dressing your avatar up. Okay. Just you could get distracted.
Right.
What are you wearing today?
Right.
Let's just not do that.
Yeah.
Shall we move into the other messages that we had planned?
Absolutely. No, and let's do it because we gotta we want to cover some of the non-teams. If you'll believe it, there's actually some non-teams things for us to talk about. Yeah. So first up is improving SharePoint, improving the page authoring experience. This is MC531216. And this message is really covering some things. We've talked about another message that was similar, kinda, in that it was talking about improvements coming to SharePoint, and this is another one coming to SharePoint, and this is modern, the current, right? Being able to really empower page authoring and editing, giving, I think, some features right in front of you, which is the layout options for web part, right there, instead of having to go over into the pane and do some web part. The first screenshot there shows you that about how you want to show the quick links. That's nice to have it on the web part itself. And then changing things up with moving over the add section action to be in line on the canvas.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of having to go to the, I guess when you're looking at the page, go to the left, it's going to be on the canvas right there, right on your hover.
So with that, Daniel, I create a lot of pages. That means that there'll be a add web part somewhere between, just below a section, add new section.
No, this is add section.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, so there'll be add section, but then it'll be add web part right there together. Right.
Right.
And but the add web part in the spacing, there's enough space in there. It's not like a right next to each other, and you're going to get in trouble with So,
yeah, that's good. That makes sense.
Yeah. The image web part toolbar, I like this. The consolidated, enhanced image web part toolbar, and then adding and you're showing that screenshot there, the text overlay capabilities on the image web part. So be able to add text there. Right on top, so that's nice. It's a new addition. Yeah, and so you're going to be able to change, where that text is, the styling, the size, the color, all of that, transparency, and I'm really liking that, to be able to use images in a way to describe, give information without having to open that image up in some sort of image editor, add your text onto it, and then add it to SharePoint. Right?
Yeah.
We're able to just add the image and then put text over top of it.
It's a nice, quick way to make changes like that if you don't have access to someone who's a designer or some software that does the same thing.
Yeah. Straight out of the box. Love it. So, rollout late March, so nowish, and expected to be completed by late June. So just know that it's going through. One thing I don't like about this message is it doesn't talk about the specific targeted versus standard and all that kind of stuff, but just know that it'll be rolling out in that time frame. We do have roadmap IDs on here, so that gives us a little bit of information, but it's not very much more. So it's not. Yeah. Okay. So just keep tabs on, as we've talked about before, the relevant or the rollout information. For messages, and see when this will be coming and rolling out for you.
And Daniel, task publishing is also coming to. Oh well, actually, it's a change to task publishing. If you're an organization that uses it, I think of like retail and being able to send out standard instructions to multiple locations to update your window for your display or something. Task publishing is going to get an urgent task feature, so that that's MC531216, where you'll be able to push a task out there and make sure that it's going to get people's attention, not just appear in a task, but it's also going to appear in your activity feed. So imagine being a branch manager for a retail store and you have to make a quick change to a price or some kind of thing within the display. That'll get pushed out. You've got your own copy of that task. You can tick that off, and the group that's publishing it will be able to catch up with it. So that's rolling out beginning late March and expect to be completed late April. Daniel, you need to excel at this next message.
I love it. Thank you for doing that transition. I appreciate that. Microsoft Excel Get MC532199. This was going to be one of our top headlines for this week before the Teams announcement, because this is kind of a big deal. Mm-hmm. You know, have you seen those T-shirts say, you know, I'm kind of a big deal? You know, well, this is kind of a big deal. So this is Microsoft is updating Get and Transform data tools in Excel. So think Power Query. Okay. So on June 1st, those tools, and you download that add-in for Excel, that tool will require a couple of additional libraries, they call them, which is just installs. So a .NET framework update and a WebView 2 framework. So those installations, you'll have to install those on your machine before you'll be able to use that updated Get and Transform. Why is this important? Doesn't everybody use Power BI now? Well, this is where Power BI kind of came from, right? But it also is being kept in step with that functionality. There's a lot of people that use this in their organizations. The gotcha here is that if they want to continue using it, you're going to have to update these. And I like there's a little note here that says, inform your help desk and update documentation. Yeah, you better. What would be even better is if you roll out software to your users, it would be nice to go ahead and roll out those libraries to your users on their desktops so that they won't encounter issues. Because I have a feeling come this time there's going to be a lot of people screaming because this is used a lot. And frankly, this message doesn't have a whole lot of support. There, you know, the help information on this doesn't give you a lot of details. I'm a bit disappointed in this message and the actual detail, the information that's provided. It really, I feel like needs a little bit of a empathy touch to this to help people understand what's going on and how they can actually get this fixed before their users scream. And so I think they will have some issues there.
So we should have called this message Microsoft Get Help.
Yeah, get it. Yeah.
I think like one thing we're trying to highlight here too, and we do this with messages because sometimes they appear to be written by developers or people that haven't quite thought about the impact. The impact of this is, sure, I'm not someone who uses Power Query, but I might heavily rely on a report that's been written for me that I use every week to come back to my people and talk about figures and react and make decisions around that. And if I haven't got those updates, then that report's not going to work. So, yeah, need to do something about that.
Indeed. So that you got your date June 1st, so you need to start working on this right now, people. You really do. So get to it, get those updates installed, and then of course tell those that are supporting your users, hey, we're probably going to get people having this issue, and this is why, and here's how you can get those resources and get people up and running again. Because most of the time when people are using this, they're crunching data and they're crunching figures to get information to run business, to make decisions, to do important things, to see how things are going. And so it is important that you keep those users gainfully employed with doing their job. So,
where are my figures?
Yeah, where are my figures? All right, Darrell. I think we need to talk about the next thing, and we need to be kind of light on the subject.
Yeah, because we are running out of time. Mm-hmm. But this is significant. Microsoft Authenticator Lite in Outlook, MC532607. We install Authenticator because we need to respond to MFA prompts. Maybe we use it for multiple applications. It's one place to go to be able to manage those codes and responses when we're signing in to prove that we are who we are. But if you are having trouble installing and getting that out there to people, maybe you're trying to get ahead and at least provide something for people to respond to MFA prompts, then Authenticator Lite is going to run out of Outlook, and that's going to be an interesting thing. It will allow you to use those codes, and so if you're logging in, then it could prompt you from Outlook, and no need to install Authenticator for just that level of security. However, like Daniel and I were talking about it's kind of in between SMS as an MFA method and Authenticator, because the full Authenticator gives you a few other things that definitely help you to be more secure. And I guess at the far end of that spectrum is Company Portal for securing your device. But this is something that admins will need to enable to be able to take advantage of. So take a look at that. It's going to be moving to general availability in late April 2023. Love all the bold text below. So if you want to have a quick look at what this looks like, what is this going to look like here? You have received a sign-in verification, so that It looks like it's coming from Outlook. You've got to enter the number. So this is leveraging that new feature, Daniel, where the number will appear on the screen. You have to put it in. You can also respond and say, no, that wasn't me. It's someone dodgy trying to get in there. But it's leveraging an app that's probably already installed already. So good to see.
Yeah. One thing, and there was a question that was raised about, it's important too that it's going out as default on. It eventually is. It eventually is. So it is in this Microsoft managed state, which means at go live, at general availability, it actually won't be turned on. It'll be off. And then Microsoft is going to switch it to where it'll be turned on at a later date, as it talks about in the message. So it is important to understand that it is off now, and it'll be off in the preview time. It'll be off at general availability, at go live. It'll be off, and then it'll be turned on. So this is interesting, and I don't think we've seen a message like this, where they say, we either see it say it's going to be off until you turn it on, or it's going to be on until you turn it off. But it's going to be off, and then we're going to turn it on, but after go live. So it's kind of an interesting it's staged one of those, rollout.
Yeah, it's one of those new features that uses that new Microsoft managed setting.
Indeed.
So I think that the default's going to be for some of these features, unless it's uber important, that it'll be Microsoft managed by default. You'll leave it off. It'll be turned on eventually so that your organization can benefit from it. So you'll need to make that decision consciously to turn it to off if you need to. But yeah, that is it, Daniel. I know we had a couple of other messages, but we're out of time. We'll cover those in a short. Do you like our shorts, everyone? They're kind of fun, eh? Daniel puts a lot of work into those, and even if it is mocking me, that's perfectly fine. I'm okay.
Well, that's the best part. I mean, the one that has the power gets to do the mocking, right?
You're supposed to be responsible with that power.
Yeah, well, I'm not Spider-Man.
No. Can I use that for the next short?
So, we'd like to hear your feedback on the shorts. Do you watch shorts on YouTube? If you do, then hopefully you've seen some of our shorts, which, what are shorts? They are, those short videos, think other platforms that have those videos where you can scroll through, like Insta. Oh, by the way, we're on Insta at 365MCS. And TikTok. Oh, by the way, we're at 365MCS there. So, you think about those. That's what YouTube Shorts are. So you can jump on there and see them. And we try to call out some funny moments. Love, if you see them, make sure you give a thumbs up, okay? We'd love to get your feedback there. But, yeah, we love doing them.
Cool. Well, until next time, catch you again next week. Thanks all for joining and for pivoting with us on the news around the new Microsoft Teams. Go ahead and enjoy it. We'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.